Hello, welcome back to the E46 Drift Build. Hope you're liking the content so far. So as you know from the previous episodes, I'll put a link to taking the subframe out here. The subframe has been removed and the diff has been removed. So while we have that out the car, I'm going to take advantage of looking at the chassis and doing some strengthening work to it. It's a common fault on the E46 and 36 where the subframe bolts to the chassis cracking. So what I've done, I've got these templates off eBay. I'll put a link to these in the description. So what you do is, as you can see the slits in them, you weld them to the chassis and it goes to the strengthened parts of the chassis. So have a look under the car and see what we've got to play with. So as you can see, I'm under the car now. So there's one mounting point for the subframe and there's another one there. Overall, it's in decent condition. It could be better. As you can see, there's quite a bit of rust over here, a bit over there where the fuel tank mounts, same that side, and a bit over there where the fuel straps go. So I'm going to get the grinder with the wire wheel, going to prep this area here and same here, just to see if we can see any cracking underneath the paint, and also get it prepped for when we weld. We don't want any issues when we're welding any rust. So we'll get on with that now. So we'll jump into a time lapse and we'll see what result we get. So that's all 4 mounting points done now. It took a bit longer than I expected. There's quite a bit of prep. Obviously there's quite a lot of surface for us, so when you try and weld it, you don't get a good weld at all. You just burn a hole in the material that you want to weld. So I'll turn the camera around now and I'll show you. I've started to prep one of them already, and then I'll talk through what I'm going to do next. So as you can see, we've got all the mounting points for the subframe prepped. On this side, I've put the strengthening plate in, so as you can see, there's a hole in the center of it, which you can hold it in place. We need to bend that, shape it to the chassis. Same here, so we've got another one here, so that needs a bit of bending to get it into position. And then all you do then is, as you can see here, you seam weld all the way around the perimeter of the plate. And then there's a couple of slots, you fill them full of welds, and then once you're done, you grind it so your subframe, so it's got it flat. So I'll get prepping these now, bend this over, and then I'll get into a time lapse of welding the steel plates in place. So as you can see, that one's, I've just gone over with a flappy wheel on that, just to make it all nice and smooth, blend all the welding. So what we're going to be doing is, as you see here, I've put red oxide primer on it. I'm going to do the same for the other two, which there's one there and the other one is there. So I'm going to put red oxide on both of them, and then I've got some under seal, which I'm going to spray all over. So anywhere which is bare metal, as you can see over there, I went over there with a wire brush from the grinder the other day, and you can see it's just started to oxidize already. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over it with the wire brush again, just to get all the surface rust off, and then I'm going to spray red oxide. So this is a bit of prep work, it takes quite a while. So I'm going to jump into a time lapse and then you can see me red oxide, and then I'm going to put black undercoat. So I'll jump straight into that. So that's the red oxide primer down. As you can see, it doesn't take that long, but it's best to do prep like that especially with everything off in the long run. It's going to help out, prevent rust, and just make it last that a little bit longer. There are two bits which I haven't recorded, and that's I've cut out the two holes above the fuel tank and plated them up. So I'll turn the camera on now and show you what I've done. So I don't know if you remember, there was a hole here just above the fuel tank and here as well. So what I did was I cut some 2mm mild steel plate out to the shape of the hole that I cut out and welded it in place. It wasn't too bad. The material was a bit thin, so I ended up tracing a couple of holes, but it's turned out okay. So now, as you can see, all the red oxide primer is done. So I'm gonna jump into a time lapse showing the underlay, and then that'll be it for this episode. So as you can see, the car's now undersealed. This video is a bit longer than I anticipated. Originally I was just going to do the reinforcements, but I thought I might as well cover the underseal as well. So that's it for this episode. The next episode I'm going to remove the spare wheel tub and relocate the battery. So if you're liking the content, if you could please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.